Yeah, I had not
Hi,
unmuted.
how are you?
Hi,
Where are you
fine.
calling from?
Nairobi, Kenya.
It's good to be. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Is it the rainy season there? Are you having lots of rain?
Lots of rain, floods, but
Mhm.
right now in Nairobi is shiny. But around the country, we are having a lot of floods and a lot of havoc. Actually, it's really
Mm.
bad.
That just compounds what's going on with COVID-19. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
What can I help you with? You have a question? You have a challenge you want to work on?
Yes, I have this challenge of being stuck.
Okay, we're gonna get you
I,
unstuck.
the thing is, I have my business is a compound of several. I was trying to merge in several businesses to
Let's
be
let's,
able
let's take a
to.
step back. Let me ask you a question, and this would help
Yes.
make sure we get to it as quick as
Okay.
possible, so we can spend more of our time solving
Okay.
problem solving. In 30 seconds,
Yes.
what's your product and service? Who's your customer? How do you make money? Go.
My
What's your
product.
product and service? Who's your customer? How do you make money? 30 seconds.
My product is transport, food,
Okay,
and bed, bed and breakfast.
got it.
Yeah. So my customers are students, anybody who's passing by, and guys who want to eat well.
Okay, good.
And the transport is a luxury. It's a luxury van that I have.
Mm. And so you
So
move people around. It's back to the airport or wherever they need to go.
yes, and then those company from Egypt that
Okay.
had come in to do hail transport with an
Mm-hmm.
app
Mm-hmm.
that we were working on, but got a bit of frustration and it's had to be halted a bit.
What's so what? Yeah. So what's the challenge and what's got you stuck?
What got us stuck is our country. Unfortunately, the transport system did not want to give us a license to do the hailing, the hailing vans, hailing of their vans.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, so they
Tatus.
frustrated us on that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of money exchanging hands, and we had to. We just had to stop. A few people went on, but it still did not. It didn't go well with us. But it's supposed to be still in the process. But right now with the COVID, no one is going to work because most of the clients were people who are going to work and maybe going across town and they don't want to stop um, to change to get into another vehicle. You know how you stop at
I do. I
one
do.
stage and get into another. So
Yeah.
this
Not probably very safe environments right now with COVID-19. The way people pack into those vehicles.
yeah, but this system was working so well because you get your seat and you're able to go across town
Hmm.
to the different destinations that they have and without having to change vehicles and in the comfort of the van. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what's got you stuck?
Where am I stuck?
Yeah, how are you stuck right now? How can we get unstuck?
We're not getting the right license to do that.
So the license is the issue we're having, and you've got no control over this though right now, and it's probably not going to happen for a while, right?
Yeah, it's not going to happen for a while, and we're praying that the 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 government will actually introduce a license specifically for that because
Mhm.
they have licenses for
What happens if you drive without the license?
what's that?
What happens if you do it without? What happens if you start driving without the license?
No, we have a license, but they say it's not the right one. The license that I had is for the van would go all over the country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but now we got this contract with the Swivel, the
Yeah.
company that was giving us the work,
Yeah.
and we were doing this within town.
But yeah, my
You
question is
remove from
right now, right
yes,
now, while you're waiting for the proper license, what
yes.
happens if you go out and you start operating without that license right now? What happens?
Right now, there's no work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So even if you had the license,
Yes.
you really couldn't drive right now anyway, right?
No, 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 no.
Right. So, how are you? And I'm going to guess that it's going to be slower in terms of people being out and getting picked up, and some people are just not are going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to impact the amount of patrons that would go on buses.
Yes.
So, how can you? And this goes back to Marvin, who was just on right now. How do we look around the corner? How do you look around the corner and see what's next, and start planning and preparing for that, and versus what was before COVID-19, particularly in Kenya. You know, every time I'm there and in Nairobi, I think I come away with at least two or three different, anywhere I go in Africa, honestly, two or three new business ideas
Oh,
every time I'm there, right? And I write them down and then I shuffle them away because I'm like, okay, I can't focus on that right now. But
okay.
but there's so much opportunity in Kenya, and you know, how can you think different? Like one thought I have is like getting involved with mobile money and partnering with a bank and starting to sell mobile money to people and getting a revenue share from a bank. Shift gears, like that's a dramatic shift. But you could probably do that. You could probably get a partnership with a bank who's interested in selling mobile money wallets or getting people on e-commerce or whatever it may be. And
If it's
and you
long
probably get a team, you could go sell those and then have revenue share. I know it's not what you're doing, but what I'm trying to do is help you kind of think different and shift. Like it's definitely a different kind of business you're going to need to think about. You've got a physical bed and breakfast.
okay, I hear you, but that mobile money sector is saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people. It's all over around
Yeah,
every
yeah. So
country.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I was trying to like whack
Yeah.
you over the head and go,
Okay.
okay, how
Okay.
do I think different? Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, it's saturated, but there's still opportunities, and it may be saturated in Nairobi, but it may not be saturated outside of Nairobi, right? I'll bet you it's not so saturated if you go to the coast of Kenya, you know.
No,
And so,
Safaricom is all over.
yeah, no, it's in all the countries, but if you take the percentage of people who are on mobile money versus
Okay.
those that aren't, you got a much larger percentage that aren't than are, even though it looks saturated. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying to go do that. I'm just trying to help you think different so that you can process where is the future going versus where it was. And you're kind of part of the reason you're stuck is you're stuck in what was and not where it's going. This goes back
It's
to
true.
Marvin's discussion, and I think this book he recommended, you know, looking around the corner. Marvin, I still see you. I don't know if you're there. Can you hold that book up for remind me, or Amy, do you have that book you can put into? Seeing Around the Corners is the name of the book,
Okay.
and that is something that I would recommend. You know, whatever you can do to start thinking different is what's important right now, because
Okay.
whatever worked for you in the past may not and is likely not to work the same way in the future. And being creative and allowing yourself, did you see that exercise I did at the beginning, the visual overcoming your challenges?
Yes.
Do that. Will you do that? Are you willing to write down your challenges and then think of solutions? Bring in your most creative person, your friend that's the most creative, most outrageous, thinks that dolphins talk, and have them come in and brainstorm with you the challenges and the solutions, and then some level of actionable items, and start thinking about how you can start moving forward in a new way. Because um, the license is out of your control. It's not going to happen for a while, and I know a little bit about
Yesterday, just
the
yesterday.
yeah the Kenyan government, having started a couple organizations in Kenya myself, and it's an unpredictable thing even in good times versus now. And so if you need to create revenue, which I'll bet you do, I would be figuring out ways to create revenue rapidly in a new way, leveraging your experience, what you have, and your assets. I see Marvin's on this call. Marvin, do you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to ask the question. What's the business? The businesses again, please.
A bed and breakfast, and then transport.
Just a bed and breakfast.
Food and food. She provides food at the.
I have an eatery, yeah.
And the transport is moving people around. She's trying to get a license so that she can actually just run that transport full time and act like a bus, matatu, I think.
Okay.
It's
So
called,
I'm not abreast with what's happening in your country as far as with COVID, how affected you guys are maybe there. But one of the questions I would ask is, you have a transport company, and seeing as the way that hospitals are inundated or medical facilities are inundated, maybe you need to pivot from a transport for just commercial use and pivot for a transport for medical use, okay? And basically how you would differentiate yourself in this particular instance is that, hey, we have a sort of a hybrid type medical van that is clean, sterilized, that we can take you to appointments, okay? All right, because you have to look at the situations what we're around right now. People are afraid to come in contact with a lot of different people, right? So you have a van that you can transport and send people, take them from point A to point B. What is the issue that medical facilities, doctors' offices are maybe faced with right now? Maybe your vans can be a solution to that. Okay. So I would look at that. Also, if you have a bed and breakfast, maybe there's a scenario where someone has to quarantine themselves away. Maybe someone's affected in the household and the other people are not affected. Maybe your bed and breakfast could be a solution to people who don't have a place to go stay while someone's in quarantine. You see those ideas?
Okay, I get you, but my kind of setup for the bed and breakfast is a hostel kind of setup where there are 4 beds in one room, 3 beds in another, and 2 beds in another.
I'm going to call timeout. I'm calling timeout here. Timeout.
Okay.
Marvin?
Yes.
I love you. Every time we're together, you come up with really good out of the box, what box ideas. I think what's most important about this, Amelia, is the process of thinking different.
Yes.
Right? That's what. And so, what I hear you doing, and I'm gonna give a little dose of tough love here. It's the first dose I've given on this show. Every time a new idea has been presented, I've seen a pattern with you in a very short period of time, which I'll bet you continues on, is a reason why it can't be done. That's what I'm experiencing. And I'm not judging you on this. I'm identifying it with you right now. And what I'd like to propose is working to learn to suspend judgment in these moments. This is hard, and I think I'll give an exercise tomorrow on this process. But suspending judgment allows you to sit with new ideas, new concepts that then allow you to process those in a way that can be adaptive and help you evolve and innovate in terms of what you're doing.
Okay.
But what Marvin just gave you is gold. It's gold.
I know.
And,
I get it. Thank you.
Yeah, and so when you find yourself, here's what one exercise and one thing I would say, and it's like this: when you find yourself and you hear yourself saying why it won't work or why you've got this situation or why it's this way and not that way. Yeah. Stop yourself in those moments, pull back and say, okay, how can I learn from this and how can I apply this in my situation? Run it through a whole bunch of different, visualize it, run it through a whole bunch of scenarios. If in the end it's not viable, fair enough, but at least focus on it enough to get it to a place where it could be an opportunity, because his transport idea, and there aren't enough, there's not enough ambulances there in Nairobi, is really, they must be looking for other transports. And so, Marvin, again, that was a great one, and thanks for being here and stepping in on this. Amelia, let's follow up with you and let's keep in touch. But we look forward to hearing how you adapt, and I hope that you will take some of this wisdom that we've shared here in coaching and apply it as you move forward with your business.
Yeah, sure will.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much.
Amelia. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Good luck.